Well, hello there, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be watching from around the world to this edition of the Clip My Horse TV in our studio. What a very here with you on day 3 of competition of the 2026 FEI World Championships.
Behind every victory and before every cheer, there is a story waiting to be told. It's about all the chapters written away from the spotlight, where partnerships are forged in silence and teamwork drives one shared journey. And now, a new chapter begins.
Presented by Huvela.
Well, what a show we have coming up for you this evening, recapping everything that's happened on day 3. Plenty to come from the vaulting, which was day 1 of competition there. And of course, the sport that's very dear to our heart in the In and Out studio, eventing. It was day 1 of the dressage, the first phase of that competition. We're going to dig into everything that happened in that first day on the first phase. And I'm joined tonight by someone who is brimming. He is positively full. It's so lovely to have you.
Oh, thanks, Amy. It's good to be back. These are the days, these are the weeks that you wait for. And it feels like it's probably a full year. When you think about what that build-up is like as you're kind of a year out and you're thinking, that could be, you're looking at the 8-year-olds coming, the 9-year-olds, and you're thinking, that could be a horse for Aachen next year, given it's such a special venue as well. I think this has been a day and a week that we have been building up to what would day 1 at a World Championship be like. We've so much to dig into tonight, Amy. And like sometimes when you're in a tight preview show, you're trying to pack it all in. Even on the plane over, I was looking at and I was thinking, there is we're looking at one of the highest rated fields, the highest rated field ever that we've seen. And you'll get that at World Championships sometimes in a way that you don't always get at the Olympics because of the more limited number of entries, because sometimes of a lot more of the developing nations and a lot more of the flags that are there. The last high-rated field we had was Protoni. Before that, it was Badminton 2025. We're looking at one of the highest ever assembled fields, and it is brimming, full of stories. I looked at it and I thought 2005, we had Zara Tindall winning a Europeans in Blenheim. 2006, she became world champion. We are now looking at 2025, Blenheim European champion Laura Collett. And we'll be standing
up over 2 days because of the strength of that field, as you say, the number of competitors that come forward. So we see half of them go today in the dressage.
Here, in the dressage arena. It may be the first phase of the championship, but these scores have a huge impact on the final result. Horse and rider perform a series of movements designed to showcase balance, rhythm, and harmony. Every movement is scored by 3 sets of judges on a scale of 0 to 10. The marks are then converted into penalty points, and in eventing, lower is better. A test with a mark in the 20s is very impressive. A strong dressage test gives riders a valuable head start before the action moves to the cross-country. A lower score means fewer penalties to carry forwards, and that can make a big difference later on in the week. Unlike cross-country and jumping, there are no fences to clear and no stopwatch to beat. Success comes from accuracy and partnership. The best combinations make the difficult moves like flying changes and half pass look effortless. A good score is vital for both team and individual competition, as the combinations will only complete one dressage test, and that score will count in both the team and individual battle. And while medals won't be won in the dressage alone, they can certainly set up the path for a podium finish. Because every penalty picked up here stays on the scoreboard until the very end of the championship.
Big thanks to Rosie there for putting us on the right path as we head into looking at dressage. We have done today, Dee, the first day, the second day tomorrow. We've had a look around this incredible venue. Obviously, this is where Aachen starts to spread out. We've seen a lot of action in the main arena with the pure dressage. We now start to see the other arenas around the venue come into play. It's been a great privilege for us to have Nicole Brown joining us as our eventing reporter, and she's taken taking a little look at how the eventing is playing out and the stage on which it is set. And when she wandered off to do that, she came across a bunch of unruly Australians on walkabout. Let's catch up with her.
Aachen is a world championship in every sense of the word. We've got top class combinations from all over the world. We've got fans from all over the world as well. I've found 2 of them who've travelled all the way from Australia. I thought jokingly related to Amy Parks, but then Sky Park, I realised that your surname is actually Park, and Tegan as well. It is wonderful to have you here in Aachen. How's your journey been so far?
It's been excellent. We've had a pretty good trip over. It was pretty straightforward getting here, but yeah, this is just, I've never been before, so this is just something I've never experienced. The facilities are just absolutely incredible, and I can't compare it to anything.
And Tegan, you have been before. You were here 2 years ago.
Yeah, I've been here 2 years ago, but the novelty doesn't wear off. It's absolutely incredible to be here. Yeah, my jaw's still on the floor, even though I knew what to expect.
And actually, it's some commitment coming all the way from Australia, isn't it? How long has this been in the pipeline?
I think Sky threw the idea around as a joke. We're actually here with our mums as well on a bit of a girls' trip. Yeah, 18 months?
Yes. Yep. We were like, let's do it, may as well go. And then we were kind of like, oh, actually, no, let's make it happen, let's go. And here we are. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
And I have to ask, who are you supporting this week? Obviously the Aussies, wouldn't expect anything less. Anyone in particular?
Yeah, obviously Sophia Hill, yes. We are good friends with her from back home, and we often ride and compete with her and hang out with her and her husband and her son Ollie. So it's very exciting to have, a bit of home support for her here. So, yeah.
With her off-the-track thoroughbred, which is super special. Yeah, he was an expensive purchase, but she's come a long way with him. And also another horse she's produced is on the Dutch team, Seattle Park, known as Basil, and he's gorgeous too. So we're really proud of all of them.
You'll be flying a bit of a Dutch flag as well. Thank you both very much. Enjoy a brilliant week here. Amy, I was going to do an absolutely terrible Australian accent. So, I'm not even going to do it. I'll just show myself the door. Have a great week. Bye, guys.
She can do that in private. Work on it, it's fine. Have you got an Aussie accent, Dee? You know who does have? Sam Watson.
Sam Watson does. What we really missed out on there, what everyone really missed out on there, is that girl is hugely talented, but she is very bad in accents. And there's a little bit of me.
Drop the S. We could be related. You never know. Related to each other.
We're in the same boat.
Absolutely. Fantastic stuff there from Nicole, finding those Aussies. Don't you worry, there'll be no beer left in Aachen after they've been through. We want to move on now to talk about a particular rider also that Nicole's been catching up with a few of those riders throughout the course of the week there. Alex Hua Tian is someone we see an awful lot of in Europe, based an incredible athlete who is always there or thereabouts representing.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think of the growth of the sport, when you think of the role that the ambassadors in different countries play, Alex has played a huge role in taking the sport to China, which is, as we've talked about, a massively growing area for the sport. I think his first Olympics was 2008, his first World Games in 2014. He's been to 8 championships. And that is part of a very small decorated group. You're into probably only a list of about less than 10 riders who've actually achieved that volume. So Alex, a great ambassador, but also, as we're going to see, and kind, gentle, but ruthless when it comes to the sport.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Mr. Ice through his veins in a way. Nicole's going to catch up with him. He's our rider in focus today.
I've had an amazing journey so far. I've had some amazing horses in my career. Started with a bit of a tumble in 2008 at my home Olympic Games when I was a baby. And however many years it is now, I'm still here riding. I think as I've got older and I've realised how important it is to be able to see somebody like yourself. I didn't have that necessarily. And it's I guess, an unspoken responsibility I take quite seriously. I spend a lot of time back in China. I have a few different programs. I'm very passionate about equestrianism in China, both in terms of developing the high-level sports, but also I feel that equestrianism is such a powerful good in society, and that's something that we've really lost in China. We have a great history and heritage with horses, but in recent history we've lost that, and working very hard to bring that back. You see a lot of children in China who haven't necessarily grown up with an animal in the house, and to come up against a big emotional animal that is evolved over millions of years to run away from you, that is generous enough and kind enough and gentle enough to allow a child to come up and stroke it and feed it treats. I don't think a child needs to spend a huge amount of time for the first time with a horse, but they get that moment of magic in that instant feel, that initial feel, and it's amazing to see. Chico, who I have here, is a really, really special horse. He isn't necessarily the flashiest against his competitors, especially at this World Championships. There's some amazing horses here, but he makes up for it with bags of heart. I don't think Chico will be right at the top after the dressage, but he's a really nifty horse. He's very clever, and I think the course that Giuseppe has set us is strong, but very thoughtful, very technical, and I think that will really suit Chico. So I hope to really catch up, and he's always strong on the last day. So I hope to catch up a bit towards the end.
And we certainly hope to see that too for Alex. Lovely to hear him speak, so well spoken and delivering such a powerful message there as well, Dee. Horses really can have the power to create good in society, don't they? And that is such an important message at this World Championships, and one we hope to carry through equestrianism around the world as well.
I mentioned at the outset, a huge ambassador, someone who thinks a lot, and I think that's a rare thing. You know, it shouldn't be, but he's very reflective about where the sport is going, why it's going, and I think it really comes across. We're very, very lucky to have him.
Very lucky to have him indeed. We're very, very lucky to have such in-depth analysis as is about to come our way, Dee, because we are primed and ready for this. It is, of course, this analysis section. Team Echo Ratings have been brewing towards this for quite some into the eventing start.
It's a really interesting start to the competition. Tom McEwen, as you can see, JL Dublin, 26.6. You know, when I was preparing this, Emmy, I thought a lot of people watching this show will likely know the score. You know, what I really wanted to bring in was a little bit of what does that mean? Mm-hmm. Why is it important? That 26.6. For me, to lead the World Games after day one is only achieved by a very small collection of riders. It's a very special thing to do. And yet, in this case, I think he'll be a little bit disappointed. He was absolutely expected to lead today, but this is a horse that has 40 internationals, and this isn't even in the top 50% of the tests that they have delivered. This is outside of their top 20 tests. This is a horse that we have seen go to the 5 stars, Badminton, Kentucky, and deliver around that 22 mark. With both Nicola Wilson and with Tom, they've been at 20.9. That's their PB, again, at top levels. And in a case of probably 3 of the biggest horses in the sport, London, Fisher Chipmunk and Lordship Scrofalo, today for me, we have a leader, but the door's open, and it's an expensive miss, I would say, for Tom McEwen today.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? It's a real red herring, and it's an interest. He must be feeling such a mixture of emotions at the end of day one. We want to talk then, because where things have landed after the end of day one, it's also very interesting, isn't it? And we have these joint leaders after day one, I guess we would say, if we take a look at this. But we were talking about this earlier, this has a little bit of an interesting context as well.
Again, people will see the score, but we expected Great Britain to lead. This is the all-star Great Britain team. This is very similar to the German team of the mid-2010s, the superstar team. This is the team that hold the dressage record after the first phase, 71.1. It is still within reach, by the way. We expected them to lead, but I would say Tom McEwen probably 2 or 3 marks off where he expected to be. Gemma also 2 or 3 marks off where she expected to be. I still expect them to be the leaders, and you can see here, while we have joint leaders tonight, I wanted to lean into day 2 a little bit as well, look who is still to come. Tomorrow for New Zealand, you're going to see Tim Price and you're going to see Monica Spencer with Artis and Falco, but two of the all-time greats, London 52 and Lordship Scrafolo, very likely to be close to the 20 number. Maybe Lordship Scrafolo a little bit higher. That's the cross-country horse that we know has all the power there. So a 55.9 for Great Britain on day one, but I would say very likely to be leading
out there, and this performance from her was really something.
It's rare. It's a really rare thing to deliver your best ever. It happens every so often, but your best ever test at any level of the sport for Senor Crocodilo comes in the pressure and on the day that you most want it to come, at Aachen, at a World Championship. It is one of Janelle's best, only one test, I think only her Bertoni test, is the only time she's ever been better at a World Championships. So it's an unbelievable achievement, I would say, for Senor Crocodilo, for Janelle Price. That's the driver. That's probably 4 marks better than we expected them to be. That's what has New Zealand where they are tonight. And Janelle Price has pushed New Zealand into joint lead at the end of day one.
Yeah, exactly, and not what we thought we were going to see. We want to talk about then who comes along behind and about this French rider in Alexis Goury.
Again, I wanted to highlight this. I mean, we're looking at the top three. We've talked about JL Dublin, we've talked about Senor Crocodilo with Janelle Price, but Javal with Alexis Goury has delivered, again, very similarly, now 12, has delivered their best ever test at the top level of the sport. And the last time they were near this number was back in Le Pouget, I think 4 years ago, as an 8-year-old. This horse, I think it's Alexis Goury and also Alexandra Van Dam. They've shared the ride. Probably Alexis has had it now for about 4 years. And today goes in with all of the greats, Jean Toulier, Nicolas Touzon, Tom Carlile, and Alexis Goury has put a test in that goes into the top 10 of the French tests at World Championships, top 20 of World Championships and Olympics. Very special moment, lots more to come, but delighted that they also delivered on the big day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can break it down. We were talking a bit about this too. I know a lot of, in sport we use the cliche, it was a game of two halves. Someone had a good day, someone had a bad day, but that is literally how we can break down.
What does it mean in terms of the overall win chances for the sport? And I thought this was quite interesting when it came to me from our analyst this afternoon, because as you'll see, 3 of the names on this list did not compete today. And it reminds us of the nature of the 2 days of dressage. And you'll see in a moment when I look at who had a bad day, where those win chances have come from. Tom McCune has lost 6% of his win chance. And that's what I was highlighting about, just that little leak of probably 3 marks away from their 23 into a 26. They were up there with the favourites. They've dropped 6% on their win chance. That gets shared across the field, but the ones that take the most of it are going to be London 52, Lordship Scrafolo, and Fisher Chipmunk.
To obviously analyse all of that. The riders today, I think it was extremely hot. There's been a little bit of a change to things for tomorrow's program for the second day of the pure dressage because of the heat, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But we have spent some time catching up with the riders after their tests. Let's take a look.
Trot work was amazing. A little bit of work to do in the canter, but we've come a long way, and our first international event on the world stage. Awesome start, and couldn't be more pleased with the horse.
You know, I'm a bit disappointed. I made a couple mistakes out there, so it's a sport and it is what it is. You know, that's a great thing about eventing. It's not just day one, we've got 2 other phases, so that's the great thing.
I think I did quite a good test. I have a nice dressage horse, she's so sweet, and yeah, I was quite happy with my test. She got a little bit scared coming in from the camera in the back. And then the second time I had to do the hold there, she was also a little bit, ooh. That made I think that could have been a bit better, but for the rest I was actually really happy with the test.
Oh, I'm very pleased. It was really good. He was with me the whole way, and he kept his nerves on the wraps today. Just a few small bits and pieces could also always be better, but in the whole I'm very happy with that.
He's not the fanciest, he's not the biggest mover, but he is an absolute trier, this horse, and I just adore him really. So to come here and put his best foot forward, it really is the culmination, you know, of a couple of years of pretty solid working on this phase, but he's certainly exceeded our expectation today.
Yeah, lovely to hear from some of the riders there. You can tell it's very, very hot and sweaty work out there in the arenas at Aachen. Nicole Brown is our eventing reporter this week for us in the In-Out studio. She has been watching with a careful eye over the dressage and commentating as well. You'll be hearing her voice behind the mic, but she's going to bring us up to speed with how things land after day one.
Day one here in Aachen. The sun has been shining all day, but the anticipation has been ramping up. 43 combinations in total today have come forward to do their dressage. There were some slight last-minute adjustments for the Dutch team because unfortunately Florinor Hoogland and Hontoni withdrew last minute, which means that Sanne de Jong has been drafted in to the team, so she now does her test tomorrow, and actually the Dutch are just down to 4 team riders. But it's been a brilliant day of sport, and actually it's been wonderful to see all of the athletes coming out to support their teammates. I have to admit to doing a good bit of fans girling as well, because there's been some top class combinations that are coming forward tomorrow out there in the warm-up arenas this evening, just putting the finishing touches on their preparations, just making sure that everything is fine-tuned as it can possibly be, because it is going to be a brilliant day of sport. And I think you guys will have been looking at the numbers. But actually, when it comes down to tomorrow, the pressure cooker here, I don't think we can quite sum up how much of a difference that is going to make. We've got a new dressage test that we're seeing for the very first time here. It's the test that we're going to see at the Olympics in LA in 2 years' time. Less than 4 minutes. They are within those whiteboards. 4 minutes, guys. That's all they have got to go and impress the members of the ground jury. And actually we've seen, because it is so intense, it comes up every movement so quickly, some mistakes creep in, they prove to be quite expensive on the leaderboard. And I think that's going to be a really, really key learning point for a lot of these teams who are of course bidding for Olympic qualification here in Aachen for the first time in this cycle as they go forward to tomorrow. It's been a brilliant first day. We're looking forward to tomorrow. There's plenty of chat on the ground about the course. We're going to talk about that, I'm sure, in the next couple of days. But it looks like a proper 5-star test. Can't wait. Back to you guys.
Amazing. Thank you, Nicole. She is certainly having an absolute ball out there, Dee, isn't she? She's having way too much fun.
She looks happy. It doesn't,
Yeah,
as in,
she
there's
does.
a point where you look a little bit frazzled but happy, and I think Nicole's that. I'm looking forward to see.
There's a lot of numbers to look at and a lot to play for, a lot at stake.
One of the ways that I wanted to talk about each day, Amy, was not just in terms of what's happened, but also in terms of what that means. I think that's a critical element of the In-Out show generally, is can we place that into a little bit of context around what comes next, or where in particular from a first phase, that platform point of view, what does it mean? Is it a dressage horse that we may see leak time? Who, by the way, maybe you would say Tom McEwen and JL Dublin, unbelievable finishers. So it all might not be lost, despite what we're seeing on the win chance change. But yes, still to come, Amy. I think it's a key day. A lot of what we'll see is those top combinations coming as the anchor riders, which means, as you can see on the screen now, Lordship Scrafalo and Fisher Chipmunk will be late in the afternoon. I very much expect that Laura Collett goes into the lead at just after midday tomorrow, and Nickel, of course, Julia Krajewski, an Olympic champion, an Aachen champion. I think a little bit under the radar, and Nickel a little bit underrated in this superstar field. But this, in the context of today, I would say that all of these horses, as you can see, that's 608, that means 6 run average. That's their average of their last 6 dressage tests. All of these numbers are they're lower than our current leader. I think it's a critical point to remember. I think that we've had an okay start. I think Tom will be a little bit disappointed. He would have expected he's in that top 3 going into tomorrow. The cavalry are coming over the hill. For me, there's a new top.
Saying this throughout the week that's coming up, we've talked a lot about this. It's a big old headline, this one, and we've dubbed it The Last Dance.
It is unbelievably rare to who have given so much to the sport. But the reason I wanted the last dance concept is they have gone head to head. Their whole careers have been intertwined. You can see on screen, I mean, medals not too far apart, 5-star wins not too far apart, but some of it is. He set a new 5-star dressage record, a new 5-star finishing score record. Laura immediately went and won badminton. And in her post-ride interview, she said, Michael and Fisher Chipmunk put it down to me last week. I wanted to go one better. This is a story that I on Saturday and Sunday, their career, see how it plays out between them.
Yeah, and I know.
Again, I think it's critical because day one really does change them. And day one, you can see there, I'm just going to take you outside the top three for a moment, but JL Dublin, Tom McEwen, that combination were much higher. We have moved into the big three. I think that's a critical element of what we're seeing on screen now. And look, that may change again by tomorrow evening. These are very much a fluid, moving piece. The model will take into account every day's scores. But what you can see coming from today is you've got Senor Crocodillo. Amazing to think you have a 5-star winner in Will Coleman and Diabolo, who are actually still on 3%, the same as Julia Krajewski, 2%. Nicholas Touzon, Diablo Mount, again 2%. It's going to feel very, very low, but look at what the big three at the top of the market are taking up. It's been a huge first day, and it's been huge for them without even riding. I think it's an interesting concept we're coming back to. Right now we're looking at a clear front three in terms of where the model sees this going as an individual.
Yeah, and we have to remember too, for those who are enjoying this, the World Championships, we're not just looking at these individual achievements, of course, we're looking, as we touched on earlier, at the team. So let's have a little look at those win chances updated after day one as well, Dee.
So you can see the win chance change is interesting. We've talked a little bit about New Zealand, and tomorrow when you have Monica Spencer coming with Artist, who could really, and we've seen that they are expected to be possibly around, it could be in the top 5 dressage test by tomorrow evening. I wouldn't be surprised if New Zealand it's currently at 8%. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes up a little bit more. Right now, look, make no mistake, the all-star team, the same as the Germans 10 years ago, going into Rio 2016 at the Olympics. The British team are the all-star team. The British team have, on numbers, on the model, they're up above 50% as a win chance, which is huge for a team, given the quality of the teams around them. As we know, European champions last year, as we know from the sport of eventing, from all the sport, Team GB very much favourites.
Very much favourites. More in the coming days. We've yet to see this perform, but we want to take a little time to talk about Fisher Chipmunk here, Dee.
I couldn't not put this in, Amy, because tomorrow.
This is the review show. We haven't seen him yet.
Fisher Chipmunk does. I wanted to get it in at some point because Fisher Chipmunk goes to this dressage test tomorrow, and isn't this fascinating? You know, when you look at Fisher Chipmunk at the championships, the only one that they didn't lead, which by the way is mind-blowing, like 7 championships here, they've led 6 of them, 7 championships, led 6. The only one they didn't lead is when Laura set that dressage record with London 52, who's here, and they went on to win that Olympics in Paris. Every other time they've led. For me, try on with 2018, that was Fisher Chipmunk with Julia Krajewski. So if you look there, you've got try on 2018, you've got Protoni 2022. They have already led 2 World Championships. For me, that is incredible. They're coming back to try and win, to try and lead after dressage a 3rd World Championship on its own. For me, that's magnificent. And why do I think they lead? Take a look at this, Amy. I'm going to show you the dressage scores of their recent performances at the championships. The range, the highest they've been is Tokyo 2021. And the lowest they've been is that 17.8, where they just tried to chase down London 52 back in Paris. This is unbelievable performance. When you talk about delivery on a big day, the pressure of championships, and Nicole mentioned that pressure cooker, Fisher Chipmunk will almost always be in that last section. They will almost always be in the cauldron. And to have a range of 17.8 to 21.1 over your championships, this is magnificent. Unbelievable performance. Now coming to the end of their career, their last championship, I expect, at home in Germany, with the multi-time Olympic champion. It's so special, and it's a history moment that I want people to see and feel and cheer that horse home.
Yeah, either way you look at it, it's going to be an incredible finish here. As we say, we've been a little bit indulgent. I knew once we got Dee and Nicole and Team Equeratings involved and it was eventing, it would be very, very hard to keep them on the leash. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do very hard to keep them on the leash. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. Nicole has been out having a look at the cross-country course and she caught up.
Dickie Waygood coming into Aachen this year. What's feeling in the British team camp?
Oh gosh, have you walked a cross-country course?
Not yet. That tells me everything I need to know.
Oh gosh, we've come super positive. We've got a great team, but holy moly, that is a proper track. The biggest championship track I've ever seen. The direct ways, you know, very intense, big, up to height, lots of angles, but fair. But also then there's the complexities around it, that you have a direct way, you have a middle way where you can pick and mix and maybe come back into a direct way here and there, and then you have a longer way. So there is something for everyone out there, but the direct ways are super intense, and the intensity and build those layers on with the way that the track is, it's going to be really difficult.
So the cross-country is going to play its part, but in terms of the competition as a whole, Great Britain coming in as hot favourites here, how has the feeling been in camp here? Do you feel the pressure?
When people say hot favourites in an event, there's so many variables. We've got to look ourselves in the eye, say we've given it our best shot, and if it comes off, it comes off. If it doesn't, then we can look ourselves in the eye and say that we rode to where we were meant to be, rather than going out and defending and
How much does that play on your mind, or is that just part of the big picture?
No, it is really big, really. It's a good question as well. It's really big, because at the end of the day, if you can qualify here, then you can use next year tactically, maybe preparing horses for the Olympics or saving some horses. So it's really important to get qualified here.
The pedometer's going. If we have a heart rate monitor on you all, I'm sure that's going to spike a few times over the next few days. Dickie, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Super stuff there, and we're just going to take a deviation shortly from a sport of eventing, because of course it was day one in the vaulting competition as well there in Aachen, and we saw all of that get underway. The gorgeous and glorious sport of the eventing, of course, it was the men's, the women's and the squad compulsory test. No medals today, but all of that taking place in Arena 3. We've got some of the standings after those days. Let's have a look there at the individual female compulsory tests. Here are the standings after that one. Of course, point followed very closely by Avril, making a bold statement, with bold statement, of course, her equine partner in crime. Again there, another German athlete in the 4th position, followed by the Austrian, the US, Swiss, Austria again, Sweden and Denmark making up the top 10 in the female category. We also have the standings then for the men's competition in the compulsory test. Of course, this taking place a little earlier today. We saw that as well. So we want to have a look at that. France, the Netherlands and Germany making the top 3 in the standings at the moment, followed there by Austria, Canada in the male compulsory test. Of course, the teams, the all-important squad, as we like to call it in the sport of vaulting, at the 1, 2 and 3, Germany, Austria and France. Probably no surprises for everybody who is enjoying very impressive performances across the board in the sport of vaulting. So plenty to come your way. Are you a big vaulting fan?
I'm fascinated by it, if I'm honest. You know, and I think there's an appreciation of all the equestrian disciplines.
Yeah.
For me, there's a couple of them, like vaulting. Other people feel that about show jumping.
And vaulting is a relatively new one. We haven't seen it for very many years at a World Championships. It's relatively new because they look beautiful. It's kind of a combination of horse sport and gymnastics. It's wonderful to watch. As Dee rightly said, it is a spectacle, and we caught up with some of our athletes a little earlier.
We loved our time in the ring. We are really satisfied with our round. Our horsey was really good. The feeling for all of us was really good in there. For the past 3 years we have been together, training very hard for only one goal, standing together here in 2026 in Aachen. And now it's finally happening and it's really cool.
I think we did good. The horse was, at some moments we had to deal a little bit with some changes of rhythm, so that was not always easy, but we've fighted till the end to try to pull our best compulsory possible. We are silver medalist with the squad and gold medalist with nations team, so we'll try to fight to keep that, but we'll see how it goes.
It's just amazing walking in there with the horse and with the whole team. We had lots of fun in the area. We had to work, but I think we did a great job, and we could work very well with our horse together.
Yeah, I think the horse was very good today. At the beginning, he had a little bit of pressure, but when the waters are on him, he was very good, and I was very satisfied with him.
We're very happy about the round today, and the horse was nice, and it was great to be in the arena for the first time.
Yeah. Looking forward for freestyle on Saturday.
Yeah, really.
Super cool stuff from the vaulting there. Lovely to see those teams, the big smiles on their faces, and those equine athletes. So incredibly special. What a job they do. Covering the vaulting for us is our resident equestrian sport expert, John Kyle, and he is down by Arena 3.
Here at Stadium 3 at the FEI World Championships, vaulting is well underway with compulsories day. And to talk us through and set the scene a little bit for the week, I'm delighted to be joined by international judge, trainer, and this week for the championships lunger, Rob de Bruin. Rob, clearly from your name, you're Dutch, but you're here with Canada. Tell us about your athlete, first of all.
My athlete is Avril Saunders. She's from Canada. She's already a few years in Europe, and this year she will be competing on her own horse from Canada, and we're doing pretty good at the moment.
Now, in our studio we have TV tip, something you should watch. I understand there's something we should watch with your athlete. Is it for the freestyle costume?
The freestyle costume. She has something which has not been shown before, so it's quite interesting.
Okay, we will leave it at that. Tell me a little bit. So first of all, we are in the midst of the day. So we've seen the male and the female compulsory. Tell me a tiny bit about that test and you know, the results. So what are we looking at from the judges? Are we looking at championships playing to form?
So we've seen the compulsory test, and that's one of the 3 tests the individuals do. It's only 25% of the end score. So this is just to set a little bit of a ranking. Tomorrow will be the technical test with 5 compulsory exercises, another 25. And on Saturday, it is the freestyle, and that's where the medals are being given, 50% of the whole score.
And also, I just want to bring it back for guys who are less familiar with vaulting sport, because 25% of every piece of judging is the horse.
So for every test, 25% is the horse. It's not how sweet he is, it's 60% of that 25% is the quality of the canter. And then there's 25%, does he do his job well? Does he behave? Is he on a big circle? Is he regular? And 15% is the luncher score. So that's 25% of the whole test. And then the other 50% will be technique, so how good are they technically? And 25% is the artistic. And often the horse score and the artistic score really make the ranking.
And finally then, Rob, from your years of watching the sport, and I'm sure coming here with an athlete, you know who for the goals this year. And I've got 4. So we've got female individual, male individual, pas de deux squads.
Female individual. There's always surprises. Like 20 years ago, there was Megan Benjamin from America. No one counted on her. So I hope that will happen again. But the German ladies, especially Alice and Katrine, are super strong. But then there's Avril, and I think a super nice program has also Kimberly from America.
Men?
Men, I think the top 4 of today will fight for the medal. Maybe there's a surprise, but already this ranking of today is surprising.
Okay, pas de deux?
Pas de deux. There's the French pas de deux, there's the Italian pas de deux, and there might be a German pas de deux or someone we haven't seen yet. It's quite open.
And the squads, I mean, we're watching them now. We've got a new Swiss squad going in there, not one of the teams we're used to seeing.
Yeah, so that's cool because the judges cannot say, oh, it's always Switzerland or it's always Germany, because we haven't seen them so much. So we don't know what their artistry will be, how the way they vault. I count on Germany, maybe France gets a medal, and then the field is super open. So it's super cool to watch.
Honest Rob de Bruin, your vaulting bookmaker. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the vaulting setup for you here from the FEI World Championships. Day 1 under our belts, and of course, 3 more days of sport to come.
Big thanks to John and Rob there for bringing us up to speed. As John said, 3 more days to come, 4 medals to be awarded, 4 World Championship titles up for grabs in the vaulting, of course. Days ahead for Friday is, of course, day 4. Now, I did mention earlier the dressage, the pure dressage, will be getting underway a little earlier than scheduled. They made that decision today there in Aachen. The individual time, that is to counter the weather. It's going to be pretty hot there in Aachen. The vaulting getting underway at 8:30 a.m. with the technical test, and the second day of the eventing dressage for the team and individuals at 9:30 a.m. European time. Check your local schedules for all the details, and of course that's all available on FEI TV and Clip My Horse TV for you to enjoy on the live stream. So plenty there for you. Now don't forget, thank you to our wonderful sponsor Hua. We have a giveaway. You can win yourself a premium subscription, which of course will allow you to watch every moment of the action here on FEI TV and Clip My Horse TV, of course. So scan that QR code, don't tap it like I was trying to tell everybody they needed to do. That's not what you need to do. Okay, boomer. You need to scan that QR code to be in with the chance to win yourself a premium subscription. So do that. Get onto it straight away. Do yourself a favour, Dermot Byrne.
Thank you, Amy. Great day. Lots more to come.
Yeah, plenty more to come. We're super excited for all of the sport that lies ahead. We'll be here with you, of course, with a preview of the day and, of course, the daily recap. Don't miss it. What a pleasure. Until we see you next time, take care.
The best horse feed for the best athletes. German horse feed since 1905.
He's up and over, he's got goals! 13.
Against the clock, it really didn't matter. Mickey, defended Kentucky.
No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.